Hey guys, I've been working on my studio for a full week now. So it looks a little different than it did when I last showed you. So I'm really excited to take you in, show you what I've been doing, and hopefully inspire you to do some tidying up of your own. Let's go. Okay, ready? Here we go. Ta-da! Ah, can you hear the angels singing? I can hear the angels singing. Look at all that white space, countertops that are not covered with clutter. Marie Kondo would be so proud. We'll see how long it stays this way. Anyone who's a crafter knows. Probably not long. So I wanted to first point out my island. This is no longer really an island. It is now more of a table just pushed up against the wall. It was turned the other way and right out in the middle of this floor. Now I have all this great floor space. Here's a look at what the island looked like before. As you can see, there really wasn't any floor space, in part due to the easel there, but the island did stick out in the middle of the floor. So once I put the island back together, we left everything pretty much the same. I still have my 8.5 by 11 cardstock on the end. That was custom made for me, those little cubbies in there, by a friend of my husband's. And then I have some neutral cardstocks up here, some felt, extra envelopes and papers, and then those 4 baskets right there are all ribbon. They're in there by color. I have too many ribbons that I do not use, so those are going to go at some point. I have not gone through the baskets yet. And underneath, I have another cubby full of baskets for things that I don't use very often, but I do use occasionally. And then I have 4 stools in there I can pull out and put around the table when I have friends here. The metal holder on the wall there, on the shelf, that's holding Winsor Newton acrylic paints. That shelf's been leaning up against a wall for probably 2 years in my office because I didn't have a great use for it. Well, now I do. And then my lovely stand here, spinny rack. That used to be over in the other corner next to my desk with folded cardstock on it. And now I have finished cards, so I can actually remember to send them. And then I have a blank canvas up there ready for me to play. I put the word create on the wall right above this window. And then there's the backyard and my granddaughter's little table right here. So she can sit there and she can do her art projects or Play-Doh or whatever she wants to do with a view of the backyard. She loves it. It's the first place she goes whenever she comes here. And then let's look at what's in these drawers over here on the end. So this one down at the bottom is full of patterned paper. I have done nothing with it. I have not sorted it yet. This drawer is all of my granddaughter's little pads of papers and her fingerprint activity book and all the types of things that she might like to do at her little table, right there for her to reach. The one above it also has some things for her in it. I saved some of these flowers and snowflakes and things that I was going to just toss, but I saved them because I thought she might like to glue them onto some paper or have some fun, do some little projects with them, as well as some extra little buttons and, of course, chapstick. Very important to have for a 3-year-old. And then the top drawer, this was the last drawer I organized in my studio, so it's just full of whatever was left over. There are a few things in there that if I don't use them in 6 months, they're going. But I'm just kind of testing out, like all these beads. I'm not sure why. I thought I needed every color of microbead known to man, but there they are. Okay, the next thing we have is this lovely little cart right here that's entirely full of things of my granddaughters. And I'll pull that out and show you what is in that. Here's a closer look at what's inside my granddaughter's cart. So we've got a smock down there for painting, some more paints, some chalks, some Play-Doh, more paints, markers, brushes, pens, pencils, kinetic sand, all kinds of wonderful things that 3-year-olds love to play with. Okay, next we have the middle set of drawers. So top drawer, we have brads and pins and things like that in rainbow order, of course, because that makes me happy. It sparks joy, Marie, it sparks joy. Then the middle drawer has embossing powders and glitters, as well as tools that I use when I use those things. And then this next drawer down has enamel dots, also in rainbow order. And then this is what's left of my ginormous button collection. I got rid of a lot of buttons. So I just kept some 2-holers, because I much prefer those to the 4-holers, and just a few that I might use occasionally in each color. And then again, bottom drawer, just paper. I have not done anything with those bottom drawers yet. That's a project in and of itself for me to go through. Next, I have my rolling cart here. This one was my solution to holding all of my dies. And I will show you, by pulling that out, what's in there. Okay, there's a look at what's in that cart. We've got all my dies on the top, my die cut plates, my bind it all on the bottom. There's a canvas for the floor to protect the rug from paint. And then on the other side, I have some binding materials, a heat-proof mat, and this is some more little parts for my bind it all as well. Let me tell you, these are so much easier in here. I don't have to pick up that really heavy fridge bin that I had them all in before, so they're nicely organized in there. I do need to go through them a little bit ruthlessly to pull out some that I do not use, but otherwise it's awesome. Okay, last bank of drawers. Top one, washi tape, rubber bands, clips, pins, some brads. We've got sponges, punches, some extra wood blocks. Got all my extra scissors in here for when I teach classes, and then my very important label makers I use on a regular basis with some extra rolls of tape handy. And that bottom one is just more 12 by 12 cardstock that I have not gone through. All right, let's look at the top here. Let's see what we've got up here. I love this section. Isn't that pretty? So all those little white pots are actually flower pots from IKEA. I got a bunch of years ago. And I put little labels on the front of them. They're the same labels I use in my pantry. And I have added just a wet erase chalk pen. That's how I wrote on them. So it's not as fine as I would like. I would, of course, prefer a printed label, but I can change what's in there easily. And then up in those turquoise tins, I have extra tools, things that I use on a regular basis, a fairly regular basis, but not too often. So that one's got my crimper and crocodile. There's an extra scrub pad and powder trays, my extra silhouette blades. That one down there has glue guns, hammers, heat tools, stuff like that. And then the green tins I did not label because I can see what's in them. Different types of writing instruments and things like that. Then the jars I did not label either because I can see what's in them as well. Easy peasy. Remember all those little button jars? They found their home in my spice drawer. Another little piece of heaven. On one end of my countertop on this side, I have an antique paper cutter, which I really love. That brings me much joy. I don't use it obviously, but it's really fun. Then I have a couple of candy jars with twines and grosgrain in them, my sewing machine, my silhouette machine, my die cutting machine, which is the good old reliable Big Shot. I have had many different die cutting machines, including some more expensive electronic ones, and I always go back to this one. This one, even though it did once break, we were able to fix it ourselves, and it's still going. I've had it for like 15 years, a long time. And then I have my paper cutters on the left end, right where I use them all the time. So even though they're not super pretty to look at, they need to be out because I use them almost more than anything else. And then up above, I just have a few little decorations. I took down a lot of what I had because it felt very cluttered. So these two gorgeous paintings right there, they were done by my granddaughter when she was maybe 2. And then there's one I did a long time ago. And then just something fun I made quite a while ago as well. So then if we turn to the other side of my room, this is where I spend most of my time, right over here. So why don't we start up high. We'll look in these cupboards. So I have yet to put handles on these cupboard doors. I don't know why. I just haven't. So this is kind of a place where I store extra things. That's electronic cords. I just realized I didn't label that. I gotta label that. And then I have some drawing books and a whole lot of Copic manuals up there. And then right here, these are all cards that I have made that don't fit on the spinny rack, but most of them are out of season, like Christmas cards or fall or summer or that kind of thing. And I will add those as we come to that season to the rack. And then down here I have embossing folders. I have 6x6 background stamps, my tissues, and then I have my scrub that I use on a regular basis, my Stampin' Misty that I use on a regular basis, and up here I have my Score Buddy that I also use regularly. The only other thing in here I have right there is my daughter's college schedule for this semester, so I know where she is and I don't bug her when she's in class. I still do sometimes. And then this fun little tin round rack here. You might remember I had a bunch of spinner racks on my desk before, and now it's just got lots of clear space. I put some things that are too tall for some of my other storage solutions, as well as some things I use all the time, including my mister, some white pens, an extra pencil, and then like a bottle of water, a couple of bottles of water. And then up on the top I have address labels, hand stamped by labels, things like that. That little silver bucket right there, I put my Copic markers in as I am creating a project. And there are all my Copic markers. I actually condensed them a little bit so that I could put my multi-liners down here in the bottom 2 sections because I use them quite a bit also. All right, so let's move along. So I have my Archon camera mount just kind of turned out of the way for now. When I use it, I'll turn it back forward and it'll be ready to go. These are all my various inks with Copic. I swapped out my big light for this nice little one. Everything that's plugged in goes down through this little hole in my desk to a plug in the wall underneath my desk. So that's very handy. These are tools that I use all the time, so they are just going to stay there. And then I have this little plexiglass holder for images that I'm coloring, some notepads, some business cards, things like that. Here's my laptop, which I use to watch Netflix while I color. That doesn't always work out. I've been listening more to crime podcasts lately. Thanks a lot, Lydia. So I've been kind of addicted to that. So there's some ink pads. I have a few up at the top there. Those are some Catherine Pooler ones up at the top there. I need to get more of those. But I did want to point out, I don't know if you remember before, this top of this is all empty now. It used to be covered in stuff, just right to the tippy top, up to the lights. It just feels so much cleaner when I'm sitting there working, and it just relaxes me more. So here I have some more lovely counter space. This little candle is special to me. My daughter gave that to me. This little heart right here, a dear friend gave to me. And then I have my pencils over here on the wall, my Copic anniversary set of markers right here. Those I never ever use. They're just there because they're pretty, and that's okay with me. They bring me joy, just like that. All right, so let's look at what's above my workstation. So right here, this first shelf is cards I have recently made. Right now it's Valentine's Day. It's kind of been my go-to. So those are up there, and then they'll get put in the card rack after that. This is another little pile of buttons that I saved just to make this cute little rainbow in this apothecary jar. I thought that was very cute. Just something that's pretty, that doesn't take up too much room, that just makes me happy. And then I have watercolor paintbrushes in that cute little Create bucket. Above that, this was given to me by a dear friend, so that stays there. And then all of my twines and cords that I use constantly are right up here in these neat little antique bins. And above that, just some inspirational words. So this is really more about looking pretty and just inspiring me. So this last cupboard over here on this side has my planners. It has a couple of books that have important addresses and dates and just important information that I need. These are all my acrylic blocks. I don't use them as much anymore because I use the Misty, but I have them handy in case I need them. This is the bin of all the things that don't fit anywhere else, but I use quite a bit. The wet ones I use a lot when I have my granddaughters over, especially. This shelf up here has some extra storage in it for things that I use. Right here I've got a stack of restaurant gift certificates. We seem to have acquired a bunch and we need to go out. Do you hear that, husband? We need to go out. Then I have my stapler. I have some Copic charts, some planner stuff, stickers and things, which I may or may not use. That might have to go. And then up here is extra paper. I just have some extra packs of paper that I already have plenty of out, so they're up there stored for when I need them. Okay, so now let's go to the drawers and sections that are right below the left side of where I sit. So those 4 bins that you see right there, those are fridge bins. They are full of stamp sets. The bottom 2 are organized, the top 2 are not. I have just been stuffing things in there and I have not organized them. So that is one of my next projects, is to pull out all my stamp sets and be a little bit ruthless because I have more than I need and a lot that I haven't touched in several years. So I'm going to go through those. And then this drawer down here has some other types of stamp pads that I don't use as often as the other ones, but I use quite a bit. So Distress inks, lots of those, Versamark, gold and silver, you know, some cubes, things like that. Then this drawer down here has refills for all those ink pads. And then I've got some mist in different colors and some Distress stains over here in this bin as well. And then the last drawer down here at the bottom is full of adhesive. Every one of those bins has adhesive in them, or cubes or whatever sections. And then that one green one, that's just gum. I got a lot of gum for Christmas, so I put it in there. All right, next bank. This top drawer, I'm very excited about this drawer because I'm just getting back into watercoloring, which I have not done much of in many years. I used to love to watercolor. So I have some supplies for watercoloring. I have a palette, I have some beautiful brushes, I have this palette waiting for my watercolors to arrive. And then I have some charts for the watercolors that I have, and then the ones that I want to get in the future. And below that, watercolor paper and other kinds of papers as well. I have a couple of pads of watercolor paper. I have a sketchbook in here, that sort of thing. And then in the bottom drawer here is my gel press, some extra palettes. Those real dirty palettes right there, they have Copic ink in them, and I just leave them because there's no sense wasting it. And then the brayers are in there to use with the gel press. Then we come over to this last bank of drawers. So I don't know if you remember what all of my paper pads looked like before, but I had 4 of these bins chock full of paper pads, plus several pads that were outside the bins. And now this is what I have left. I mean, I can move it with one hand. That's it. So I got rid of a lot of stuff that I am not using. And then this bin right down here is full of quarter sheets of Copic coloring paper, some different kinds in there. These are all folded note cards, or folded cards. So ready to go. These are top fold, and then the other side has some side fold, and then a lot of different envelopes in there as well. Okay, so the drawers underneath the bins, top one holds all the things I use all the time. So these are some of my most important things that I use on a very regular basis, so I keep them right next to me. The next drawer down has stencil paste and charcoal pens and my sharpener and things like that. And then in these books here, which you might remember were in a cupboard before up above, I have stencils in here that are labeled with where they're from, what company, what they're called, and they're all in there kind of by theme even. So I should use these a lot more now. We shall see. It'll be a good test. And then underneath that, this last drawer here has some other things that I need to have right by my side often. One being Post-it notes and wipes for my computer screen, hand sanitizer, chapsticks, things like that. And then, do you remember the sequins that I had in a drawer in a big pile? Well, here they are in rainbow order. Isn't that beautiful? That makes me so happy. And then I have another divider down here that has some brads and things of that nature as well. And then I have an extra pair of glasses here because you can never be too far away from a pair of glasses, especially if you're over 40, right? Am I right? I'm right. Okay, that's the tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you to tidy up your own space, to get rid of the things that are not bringing you joy. Marie Kondo is onto something there. And really to inspire you to create beautiful things. If you're working in a cluttered environment, that can really hamper your creativity. So let's all get organized and tidied up in 2019 and just have the best creative year ever. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and watch my future videos, and have a beautiful day.